Hey, S is for Saturday, S is for screencast, and S is for so long as this may, I promised I wasn't going to cry, but this may be the last screencast for our online 1020 class. Let's do it! If you take a look here, again, under the last kind of tri-week rubric or header for our schedule, see I had a link here to Reviewing Project 5. And all this is going to do is take you to what was already up here, the description for Project 5, the Reflective Portfolio. Now, why we're going to go over this is because though we've talked about reflection, and you've already done reflections for 2 of your assignments, and we've talked about the idea of how the final reflection is going to be more or less the same thing, just you thinking back through all of your assignments thought together rather than the projects individually. There's maybe a couple of formatting things that it's worth talking a little bit about. All right, so again, number one, as mentioned here in the description, you really just do the same thing you were doing, right? You're thinking about maybe how you've grown as a writer across several pieces of writing. So whereas your reflection on single projects talked about how maybe you learned some things as you were writing the project, how you made decisions about that, how you figured out or overcame certain challenges, this one's going to be about your work throughout the entire semester, so from Project 1 to Project 4. So I imagine since you already wrote reflections for 2 of them, you're going to excerpt, to take some of that material you've already written, figure out what was good about that, what wasn't good, and then build up around also what you did with Project 1 and what you're going to do with your final project or have already done for your final project due this week, and then put it together as kind of more of a coherent narrative of how you work through the different learning objectives for the class, how you've demonstrated your mastery of those learning objectives, just essentially how you learned the things that we hoped we were all going to learn in taking this class. So again, we're looking at a kind of 4 to 6 page thing, so it's going to be pretty concise. Again, you're going to walk through all of your different assignments, and again, and I mentioned this when I talked a little bit about writing the reflection for your last project, make sure you're referring to the learning objectives specifically. So although I am very much interested in general information about the projects and anything you feel like sharing about your process there, you want to make sure you're not forgetting to make specific references to the learning objectives. So again, those are on our syllabus. I also put them right here, if you can follow my finger, on the Project 5 page, so you can just grab them up and move them there. They're also going to be in a template document we'll look at in a second. So again, you're going to be making those specific references to the learning objectives. You're also going to be making specific references to pieces of writing. So, say a paragraph or even a sentence in, say, Project 2 or Project 3 that you think showed you demonstrating how you learned one of the learning objectives. So, for instance, if you're talking about research, learning objective number 3 right there, you might want to reference how you you cited or you paraphrased from a particular source, or how you discovered a second source to use for Project 2, since you were talking about 2 different pieces of writing by the same author. There you're going to refer back to a specific moment in a text when you demonstrated that you did some research or you're able to use your research effectively. So we have kind of a logistical problem here. Are you going to quote yourself, or do you just say something like paragraph 3 in Project 2? All of that's a little cumbersome, and it's maybe hard for you to insert into the text. It also makes it difficult for me to find where you're precisely referring to in a project if you just describe it or if you just quoted material. Though I have that material there, I don't really know where it is in the text. So this is how we're going to do that. We're going to have you include, or I'm sorry, this is how we're going to overcome that problem. I'm going to ask you to include drafts of all of your previous 4 major projects as what we might call appendices to your portfolio. So basically your document is going to look like this. So if you follow me here under Format, you're going to have a single, MS Word document that you'll just email to me on, anytime between now and the 18th. It's going to have these 4 things. So it has a cover page, it has a table of contents, it has your 4 to 6 page final reflection, that's what we've been talking about, and then finally the final drafts of your previous 4 projects. Now another benefit of this is since Project 4 is due with the final reflection, you can just send me that one document. So I'll grade Project 4, which will appear there as one of the appendices, and then I'll grade your reflection, and then I can just email that back to you as one document as well. So again, what's that going to look like? Well, I uploaded here a template for your portfolio, and that's also going to be useful because if you're going to link to specific parts of, or link internally to specific sentences or paragraphs or moments in your text within the same Word document, maybe you haven't done that before, and you need some instructions on how to do internal hyperlinks in a document. So anyway, let's take a look at that. So again, if you click here, you can download as a PDF a template, or here under portfolio template, I refer to as a sample portfolio. So again, you have a cover page. All I want there is your name, the course, and the semester. That's just for my records, maybe also for yours. It's like a table of contents, just tell me your reflective letter, what it'll begin on page 1, we presume. and then as an appendix we'll have your previous 4 projects. And you can put those in reverse order, because I'll be looking at project 4 first, and I've already seen the previous 3 projects, so you might as well just do those in reverse order. That'll make it easier for me to get through it. And then you'll have your reflective letter, your reflective argument here. So again, that's just much like, whoops, sorry, I clicked on the wrong link here. Much like the previous reflections that you've written for individual assignments, this is just your reflection for all of yours. And then within that reflection, though, unlike our other ones, you're going to be making specific links to sentences or paragraphs or different moments in these previous texts. So how are we going to do that, and what does that look like? Well, if you read these highlighted directions right here, it'll show you how to make a link within a document. And by a link within a document, we just mean that, say, you'd have a blue hypertext link here. When I clicked on it, instead of taking me to a website, that link would just take me to another part of the Word document I'm already looking at, or the PDF, as this case may be. So if you look at how you're going to do that, it's actually pretty simple. So find the part of the text from one of your previous projects that you're going to be linking to, the part where you demonstrate one of the learning objectives. You're going to highlight that, use the word data sample here, but I'm just highlighting the text. You click on Insert in your menu, and you bookmark that, and when you press the bookmark function, it'll ask you to give some kind of name to it. You want to use a name that you can remember so you know what you're referring to. And then when you go back to your reflective argument, you're going to find the part of that text where you're talking about, say, your understanding of audience, and you want to link that to some moment in your previous projects where you talk about audience. So you've already made a hyperlink to that part from one of your projects, so you can insert a link to it. So you click Insert and then Hyperlink. It's going to give you a couple of options. One of those is this one, Place in this document. And then it'll give you, as one of the place of documents, a bookmark name. And then once you click on that, you'll have a link within your document. So I know that may sound a little confusing, so why don't we just do one as a demonstration. So here's actually an essay I wrote for a little bit ago. So I'm just using this as like sample text. So let's say the first couple pages of this will be my reflective argument, and then later on we have the stuff I want to link to. So let's say I want to link to this sentence right here, and let's say it was me demonstrating how I understand the rhetorical situation. So again, this would be the part of one of my previous 4 projects. So I'm going to go on up to the Insert button, and you can't see this because it's outside the screencast page, but trust me when I say I just clicked on Insert, and now you see these options here. So I'm going to choose Bookmark. Then it's going to ask me to give it a name, and I already had picked this one. So I put Recit 1 to show that this would be a place where I demonstrate my understanding of the rhetorical situation. So I click on that. I don't want it to be hidden, though. It could be hidden. Doesn't really matter. Then I'm just going to click Add. So now, even though I don't see anything here, there's actually a link right there to or a bookmark, I should say, that I can link to somewhere else. So now that I have that, so we're up now in my reflective argument, the first part of the portfolio, and here I want to link to that thing that I just made a bookmark for. So let's say it's right here is where I'm talking about the rhetorical situation. I want to make that link. So again, I'll scroll on up to Insert, and this time I'm going to choose Hyperlink instead of Bookmark. And again, one of these options here is Document. Then it's going to ask me to select something. Whoops. So I clicked on the wrong. I have a document, and I want to choose Anchor, and it's going to give me Bookmark as one of those options. So I click on that. It'll show me all the different things I've bookmarked. At this point, it's just one. So I click OK, and I click OK again, and all of a sudden, I have a link. So now in the future, when you click on that, it's going to take you right down to the part that I put a bookmark for. So basically, how that would work is when I'm going through your reflective argument, and I see you make a specific reference to a part in the text, instead of you mentioning it or trying to describe it, you can just put a link right there. And then when I click on the link, it'll take me right to that part of the text. So again, it's a little bit maybe difficult or it might seem a little strange if you haven't put internal links within a document before to do it that way, but it's actually a lot simpler and it'll save you a lot of time rather than trying to describe some part of a paper or quoting yourself extensively. You can just kind of put that link in and it'll take me right there. So again, any questions about that, let me know. Even though it's finals week, so good luck with the rest of your finals, but also I will be on campus all through next week, so if you want to talk face-to-face, or you want to give me a ring, or if you should talk about something via email, I'm always available. Have a great weekend, and I'll be talking to you soon. Trying to remember what